Okay, in this video I'm going to show you how to enter orders onto the system, and I'm going to show you a shortcut that I've included which is called autofill, and it makes entering orders very quick indeed, and it also works on estimates as well. The only thing I will say on this is that it's not going to work until you've got a fair few orders manually typed onto the system. But what it does do, it saves you redoing all that typing over and over again, and it's I like it as a feature. I think it's a great little feature. So what I've done here, I've entered a new customer. There's no estimate or order associated with this customer, and we're in the order section because this button's down and it says order here, and we come up here and we click the plus, order item. Okay, right hand side of the screen turns yellow, and that shows we're in edit mode and it's ready to take your data. So we could manually type one in, just as we did in the last one with an estimate. The only difference between an order and an estimate is that you've got to put a supplier in, and we've got this optional box here which is the supplier reference. What that's for, not all suppliers do this. If you're buying stuff that's off the shelf, that's not going to help you at all. But the likes of Focus Fireplaces, if you place an order for a surround with Focus or a beam, they will put an order onto the system for you, onto their computerized system, and that will have a unique number. And so if you keep a note of that, it means if you phone up to query that order, like ask when it's going to turn up or whatever, or just double check what you've ordered, quote that number and they can go straight to it in a matter of seconds, and they'll have their order in front of you, be able to tell you what you need to know. So that's just a handy feature. It's totally optional, but it's a handy little feature. So as I said, we could enter a category here, from the list, but what we're going to do, we're going to come down here to this button, press it, and it brings up this form called autofill. And what we do here, we type in keywords. So this is going to be, I'm going to duplicate the order that we've already put on, the estimate and order that we've already put on in the last video, just so you can see the difference. And that was an Abigail light oak, standard sizes, standard rebate. Okay, so we don't have to type full words, but the words we do type have to be separated by semicolons. Now you can put a space there if you want, that's optional and it will be ignored. So if we put Abbey Oak, go, and you find it brings up 3, and you pick the one you want. As you can see, I've been playing around here and I've got 3 on the system. I'm going to use this one because it costs the most. And what I will say on that is that do make sure that this list price is current. You don't want to be selling stuff at old prices. Bearing in mind, when you've been using this a few years, this price could be 10 years old. So do make sure before you save the changes and hand the form out to the customer that the price is right. Okay, and that's saved us typing all that stuff in there. Now I'm going to say that's had a price increase, and that's now $3.70. Okay. There will be a supplier reference, but you won't find that out until you've sent your order to Focus. Okay, so you have to come back and enter that in. Okay, so once you're happy with all that, save the changes, add another, yes, and again autofill, and this time we're going to you don't have to put the beginning of words, you can also put the back part of a word or the middle part of a word. Okay, and that's the one we want, and again the price has changed on that, but everything else is there. Oh, and we want to change that to a 48-inch hearth from a 54, and again, and add another, click the autofill, and this time it's a and it was a melody, I believe. It wasn't it. It was a melody, but I don't think it was a Valor. Oh, it's a Flavel melody, I do apologise. And that, we're going to do that at $4.50, and we're going to give a 15% discount off that. Okay, alright. Now I was messing about there. and I was messing about there and talking to you and what have you, and but you can see how fast potentially you can put things into this. Yeah, that was a complete order, and I could have done that in under a minute. Now, what it's asking here is please state whether the goods are to be collected by the customer or delivered by us. Okay, that, and this box has turned red to draw your attention to it, and we're going to deliver this. Once you're happy, okay. Fitting. Now, there are two ways of doing fitting. If it's just a standard fit and you're happy putting just an amount in there for the fitting, do that. Or you could create another category for fitting and list out what you're going to be doing, like rip out old fireplace, plaster wall and make good, and if there's not enough room on one item, then you could create a second item for the remainder, or a third item even. Okay, that's the other way of doing it. Okay, I'm just putting those in to show you that how this appears on the printed order. Okay, right, so there we're all done, but one little more bit and we're not all done, Stephen. Obviously, to process an order you're going to need a part payment or a deposit, and if you come down here to this left hand corner, you'll see when I hover my mouse over that, it turns into a button. Okay, press that and it brings up this form, which is your payments. Want to add a new payment, that defaults to today's date, but you can pick another date if you want, if they paid you yesterday and you forgot to put it on. The type is a deposit because it's the first payment. So there are three payment types. There's a deposit, an interim and a balance. Okay, if you want to add another one, I showed you in the first video how to do that. It's in the menu data payment section. Method, and again this list is editable from the same place, you know, because there's internet banking etc to take into account now. That'll be a MasterCard, and 137450, that's near enough 1400 quid. We're going to say 700. Okay, alright, now what's happened is it's totaled all this up. That's including your VAT at 20%. That's your total price less 700 already received, and the outstanding balance is 67450. Now if we come up here to the print button and print order, let me just resize that for you. You'll see that the order looks pretty much like the estimate, very similar, and again everything's listed down here. These are your retail prices, your list prices. Everything's totaled up down here, and your grand total and your VAT and everything tells you the total received, and it tells you customer the outstanding balance. It allows your customers to sign here to say that these are the goods that have been ordered. That gets you out of a lot of tight scrapes if it turns up and oh no, that's the wrong colour or anything. Well, you did sign for it, and you sign on behalf of the company and that's a kind of a contract. Okay, so that's the order printed out, and you would give that one copy to the customer, keep one copy for your records. And the final thing to do is again come up here to the print and invoice, and it'll ask, are you sure? And we're going to say yes, we are sure, because what happens here is as soon as you've created an invoice, because you don't want anybody going in and altering the amounts on this invoice, let me just resize here, you'll see that's more or less like the order form, except now it's broken the VAT down on each line and given you the net price, okay, on each line, and then it totals everything together, and it's more or less the same down at the bottom here, telling you what balance is outstanding, and that's for your customers' attention as well as your own, I guess. So that's the invoice, and that prints out. Close that, and now you can see everything on here has gone grey, and no matter where you click apart from down here. You can still edit these boxes, which I'll explain in just one second. You can't alter anything here, and above all, you can't alter these prices. You don't want somebody going in there and altering stuff and making it look less than what you've actually received. That would be a no-no, wouldn't it? These boxes down here I'm going to explain in the next video, and I suggest until you have seen how these work, that you don't enter data into these. I mean, this order date here, some people think it's the date that this stuff was created, but it's not. That's the date it was ordered from your supplier, and these dates these are both date boxes, okay, and these dictate which items appear on the reports, which I'm going to be showing you in the next video. Okay.